Welcome back to the Explainer, guys. Today, we're jumping right into a newly uncovered source document titled The Mysterious Library That Appeared Only at Midnight. And let me tell you, what we found inside is this incredibly fascinating, kind of haunting paradox. We're looking at a story centered on this mysterious stone library that literally materializes out of the fog only once a month, right under the light of a full moon. And what it holds inside? Well, it's enough to drive a person completely mad. I am so excited to dive into this with you today because it really challenges how we think about our own lives.
So, would you want to know your exact future? Seriously, take a second and think about it. If there was a book sitting right in front of you and it was guaranteed to tell you everything that will ever happen to you with 100% accuracy, would you open it? Go ahead and drop a quick yes or no in the comments right now. It's the ultimate temptation, right? But as you'll see throughout today's explainer, getting exactly what you wish for might actually be the most terrifying curse of all. Let's explore why.
All right, Section 1, the Midnight Library's Secrets.
So, our story actually kicks off in this peaceful, super isolated mountain village called Ashwood. It's a place that's totally steeped in legends and secrets right on the border of the forbidden Blackwood Forest. Now, the town elders have this one strict, unbreakable rule. Never, ever walk into Blackwood Forest on the night of a full moon. But our protagonist, this 24-year-old guy named Daniel, he doesn't buy into ghost stories. He makes his living repairing clocks. He only trusts what he can measure, numbers, gears, cold, hard logic. And naturally, when you tell a man of logic that a magical forest is off limits, you're basically practically inviting him to go investigate.
The real inciting incident happens on this super rainy evening when a mysterious, soaked traveler steps into Daniel's workshop. The traveler spills the town's darkest secret. He says there's a library hidden deep in Blackwood Forest that only appears at midnight during a full moon. And inside, every single book tells the exact future of one specific person. At first, Daniel just laughs it off, but right before vanishing into the night, the traveler leaves Daniel with this really chilling warning. He says, read only one page.
Moving right along to Section 2, Daniel enters the library.
So a week goes by, the full moon rises, and Daniel's logical mind just cannot let this puzzle go. He completely ignores the warnings, packs up a lantern, and steps right into the forbidden tree line. As he ventures deeper in, the forest goes completely dead. I mean, no insects buzzing, no birds chirping, just this suffocating heavy silence. And then, the legend turns out to be entirely real. At exactly midnight, this massive stone building slowly emerges from the dense fog. Thousands of candles ignite all on their own, and these heavy golden doors swing wide open without anyone even touching them. Daniel is just frozen in awe as he steps inside to find these endless shelves stretching out way farther than the eye can see.
And here is where it gets crazy. None of the millions of books have titles. Instead, there is exactly one book for every single person on Earth. The spines just have names. And as Daniel is slowly walking between these towering shelves, the impossible happens. He actually finds a book with his own name on it, Daniel Carter.
Which brings us to Section 3, the burden of knowing.
Picture this. He's standing there with his own life story in his trembling hands, and Daniel remembers that traveler's warning, right? To read only one page. Well, he opens the cover. The first page details his childhood with this staggering accuracy. It mentions his first bicycle, his mother's lullabies, even the tragic death of his father. In that moment, human curiosity totally defeats his caution. Daniel turns the page to read about tomorrow. It perfectly predicts the weather, his meals, the exact customers who are going to walk into his shop. He turns another page to read about next week, and then next month. Completely intoxicated by all this knowledge, he reads for hours, until he turns a page that literally makes his blood run cold. He finds his final day. It details every single second leading up to his final breath.
Obviously terrified, Daniel flees the library. But the next morning, everything happens exactly as predicted. So, he tries to fight back. For weeks, Daniel actively attempts to outsmart the book. If the text said he was going to turn left, he deliberately turns right. He tries to avoid his predicted actions entirely. But the terrible, mind-blowing truth here is that destiny always corrects his path. Circumstances inevitably force him right back onto the timeline. Fate, as it turns out, is completely unyielding.
Realizing he has absolutely zero control over his impending death, Daniel is just crushed by the psychological weight of knowing. The progression is super tragic. He stops smiling, he stops seeing his friends, he basically completely stops enjoying life. Eventually, all he does is count the days. By trying to avoid his death, he effectively stops living. The burden of knowing the future has completely and totally paralyzed him.
And that leads us straight into Section 4,
The inevitable final day. So the exact day predicted in the book finally arrives. To try and cheat fate one last time, Daniel turns his clockmaking workshop into a literal bunker. He locks the doors, deciding there will be no accidents, no travel, no visitors. And for hours, he just sits there in peaceful silence, almost starting to believe he has actually outsmarted the library. But then, a frantic knock completely shatters the silence. It's Emma, a customer the book had actually mentioned weeks prior. She's crying out, "Please help! My little brother is trapped beneath a fallen cart." Daniel freezes. This is it. This is the exact sequence of events the book predicted. He could stay perfectly safe inside his locked room, or he could risk his life and step out into the timeline that he knows for a fact ends in his death.
And what does he do? Without even a second thought, Daniel bolts outside. Despite knowing exactly what it means for him, his human compassion completely overrides his intense self-preservation. He abandons the safety of his workshop, making this ultimate, heroic choice to run straight toward the danger the book promised.
He arrives at a narrow bridge over a rushing river. The heavy wooden cart has collapsed, pinning this terrified young boy underneath. Using literally every ounce of strength he has in his body, Daniel lifts the heavy wood. The child scrambles out, the gathered villagers start cheering, and Daniel smiles. He's successfully saved a life.
But as we've learned, fate is a closed loop. Just as the cheers erupt, the damaged bridge collapses right beneath Daniel's feet. He plunges into the violent, rushing river below. And despite searching for days, the village never recovers his body. The book was entirely accurate, down to the very final second. Daniel couldn't escape his fate, but he did get to choose exactly how he met it, with profound bravery.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, the courage to stop reading.
All right, let's fast forward a bunch of years into the future. Emma, the young woman whose brother Daniel saved, has grown up to become the village teacher. One quiet winter evening, she's going through Daniel's abandoned, dusty old workshop, and she discovers his hidden journal. Inside, Emma finds this incredibly profound lesson. Daniel wrote, "I spent years fearing death instead of living life." And right underneath it, he left a desperate plea to anyone who might stumble upon the forest secret. He wrote, "If you ever find the Midnight Library, please read only one page." He realized, tragically a bit too late, that the mystery of the future is exactly what makes the present worth living. But hey, the source text doesn't just let us off the hook that easily. The library still appears every full moon. It is out there right now, waiting silently in the fog. Its shelves are growing larger as the population grows. Its books are multiplying. And somewhere in those endless silent aisles, there is a book sitting there with your exact name on it, holding every single secret of your future.
So that brings us right back to the final and definitely most important question of this whole explainer. The real question isn't whether you'd find your future if you walked into that forest. The question is, once you open the cover, would you have the courage to stop reading? Would you actually be able to close the book after just one page? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, because this paradox of human curiosity is truly fascinating. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I will see you guys in the next explainer.